What is happening, you guys? Welcome back to a Tuesday tune up on the Let's Go Win podcast. And being that today is Valentine's Day, I thought we'd talk about love. But we are going to talk about love in maybe a different way than what you would consider it being all sunshine and rainbows. Because, again, the whole point of this show is to help people be happy, healthy, and wealthy. And one of the challenges that I see all the time with clients when I'm coaching them is they don't necessarily take care of themselves first. And it's especially, I've said this before with female clients, when I ask, hey, you know, what do you do for yourself? They list off how they take care of the house, the kids, the husband, the dog, the car. I mean, the list goes forever. And I said, no, 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 no. What are you doing for you? And so that's specific to females, but it happens with males too. So we're clear. And one of my favorite things from a movie is actually from Rocky Balboa. I'm not saying that was my favorite movie because that was the number 6, but the quote that he said, or the dialogue that he had, is the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit, how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And again, saying ain't, that's not necessarily something I do, but it's, I think that what he said in that piece is you're going to get knocked down, and it's a matter of you being able to take care of yourself, to really show yourself some of that self-love, some of that confidence in yourself, so that you can show up as the best version of you. And so, again, on Valentine's Day, we often think about how we want to take care of our spouses, our significant other, our wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, other person. And I want you to stop for a second. I want you to think about you and how much self love, self care are you giving yourself? Because here's the deal: you cannot love someone more than you love yourself. It doesn't work that way. You have to truly love yourself in order to show up as the best version of you. And so, what I want to talk about is 8 different ways that you can really do what I call self love, ways that you can take care of yourself. And the first one I'll start with is talking to and about yourself with love. And if you don't think you talk to yourself, just stop for a second. You do. We all do. But what is your dialogue saying? What are you saying to yourself? Is it kind? Is it warm? Is it positive? Or do we often revert to some of the things that we are lacking in, some of the judgments? And one of the things to remember is you are 100% your harshest critic. And this is where affirmations come from. This is why I'm so pro on affirmations. And I actually do at least 3 on a daily basis. And you've heard the one with my kids. I ask them, and I do it myself now too. I just decided, you know what? I'm doing it for my kids. I may as well do it for me. And so I do this at least 3, if not 4 times a day. Are you a leader? Yes. How come? I'm confident, strong, intelligent, athletic, good looking, dynamic, popular, talented, independent man with a growth mindset. And that's a long one. And that one, there's a lot to it. But that was something that I developed for my boys because I wanted them to know that they are confident. I wanted them to know that they are strong. And when the world tells you that you're not strong, that you're weak, or that you're not popular, or you're not good looking, these are all, that's so subjective to somebody saying it to you, but I want you to reaffirm it to yourself. The other one that I've been incorporated over the last year or so, and I don't remember where it came from, but I say, I come from greatness, I attract greatness, I am greatness. And I say that one frequently to, again, rewire the subconscious mind to say, you know what, maybe I'm not feeling great today, but I come from greatness. And, maybe my friends aren't being the greatest, but I do attract greatness. So I can always bring someone into my life. And ultimately, I am greatness. So that was number one, is talking to and about yourself with love. The second one I talked about briefly in the beginning, which is prioritizing yourself. We have this so frequently we take care of everyone else when we need to immediately, and this is the basis of my coaching, is I want you to take care of your mind, your body, and your soul before you do anything else. So for instance, I'll give you this morning. I woke up at, I think, 5:03. I woke up just a little bit before my alarm, and the first thing I did is I did gratitude. Before my foot hits the floor, I do the three things I'm grateful for, and then I go, brush my teeth, and then it's time to get into. I think this morning I started with meditations. I was just feeling like I really wanted to get into that moment, and then I got on and did my workout. I did the Peloton for 30 minutes this morning, and then went into some of the brain games, and then my reading, and then journaling. But I took care of me first, so then I could show up as the best, dad. Took care of the kids, took TJ to tennis, and then take care of my wife as well with her Valentine's, and make sure that she got some love. But I had to prioritize myself first to show up as the best version of me. Number three, giving yourself a break from self judgment. Wow. I already said you're your harshest critic. It's so true. And one of the sayings that I used to have up on my bathroom mirror is, your inner dialogue's a jerk. Be kind to yourself. And that's really that inner dialogue so often is just chirping about where you screwed up, what you're not accomplishing. And so for a long time, I had to remind myself that, look, inner dialogue, you suck. I'm not doing that bad. Actually, I'm doing great. But that was a practice. That was a habit that I needed to create. I don't need to necessarily do that anymore because I do so much positive affirmations. But there was certainly a time, and I still revert back occasionally to where that self-doubt will creep in, and then the negative talk starts. So giving yourself a break from self-judgment. Just stop judging yourself. You're doing great. um the next one is trusting yourself. One of the best books you can read on this, I think, is just Blink. And often, if you're ever waffling on a decision like, what should I do? The first question I ask is, what does your gut say? What does your gut say you should do in this? Not your head, but rather your gut. What is it telling you is the right move? And when you trust yourself, most of the time that is going to be the right answer. So just check in. What is your gut saying? And trust it. It's going to work out, rather than worrying that you're wrong. So it's an easy question to ask. What does your gut say? Being true to yourself. Now, this is really important if you recognize and know exactly who you are. And what I mean by that are, what are the values that you have? So for instance, happy, healthy, wealthy, right? That's what this company stands for. That's kind of my check-in is, am I happy? How am I doing? Am I taking care of myself health wise, so that I'm showing up? Am I taking care of myself wealth wise, in terms of relationships, in terms of spirituality? And so staying true to me, if this is something that's happened recently, um, staying true to my values in what I believe. And for our family, it's courage, fun, and love. And there was a group of people that were friends, but they were not really showing up in a loving way. Yes, we had fun with them often, but it took courage to literally say, you know what? I don't want you a part of my life anymore because you're not bringing value to it. And what's amazing about separating ourselves from this particular group of people, there's been zero drama since. All this drama that we allowed into our life because we do like these people. We like the how everyone was able to be together, but they brought so much baggage and drama. And I finally looked at Lisa and I said, no more. We're not doing this. We're going to set some proper boundaries, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But we're going to set some real boundaries to say, you know what? I believe people either lift you up or they bring you down. And I don't think there's any middle of the road. And it is a choice. You can choose who you want to surround yourself with. And unfortunately, that meant maybe not being able to hang out with some of our other friends as well. But I'll tell you what, zero drama since we've made that choice. So being true to yourself, you know what's best for you, but make sure that you're not compromising on your values. What is this? Number 6, be nice to yourself. We talked about earlier, your inner dialogue can be a real jerk. What I would look at this is how the way you treat your kids or the way you treat your spouse, you should be treating yourself equally as kind. So often people will love others, but then they'll beat themselves up. That doesn't work that way. And again, to show up as the best version of you, you have to truly be nice to yourself in order to be nice to everyone else. So, how are you talking to yourself? How is that showing up? Would you allow, and I say this to my kids all the time when they're fighting, I'm like, guys, look, my job as your dad is to protect you. I would never allow anyone to talk to you that way. So, TJ, if he's talking bad to himself on the tennis court, I'm like, I would never allow anyone to talk about you or to you that way. So, why would I allow you to? And same way when they're fighting, like, I'm not going to allow, even if they're brothers, I wouldn't allow anyone to do that. How much are we doing that to ourselves? So, just being nice to yourself, setting healthy boundaries. This one has become a huge part of my life. It is something that takes practice. It takes commitment. It you have to deal with some of the compromises because when you're setting those healthy boundaries, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Just because it's good for you, just because something positive is going to come from it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy because now you're missing out on hanging out with people. Perhaps that's the example I gave you that's happening in our life where I set a firm boundary and I said, no more. I'm not doing this anymore. And that meant, unfortunately, missing out on some social events. That meant really separating ourselves from this group that we had been ingrained with, that we were all a part of. But there was so much toxicity. There was just, when you look uh, at after hanging out with these people, how do you feel? And I didn't feel better. I actually felt worse than going into it. So although we had fun and we were, whatever, going out to dinners and celebrating, there was always that negative side, and it wasn't helping us be the best versions of ourselves. So are you setting healthy boundaries? The other one that this is really important on is with family. um, Often I've had clients that, well, my mom or my mother-in-law or my father, they they come into my world and they mess it all up. And I'm like, look, you're X amount years old. You're an adult. This is a choice that you have because as much as they have done for you, you have to set those boundaries so that your place of your home is your safe zone, that your spouse can truly feel safe and comfortable. And that wasn't always the case. I know when Lisa and I first bought our house, her parents would come over just anytime and all the time. And it drove me crazy. Not because I don't like them. It's because this was our home. This was what we were building together. I want to be able to just be free and live in my house. And so it didn't hurt their feelings to say, hey, you need to call before you come over. Or there's certain times that I don't want you in my home. It's not that I don't love you, it's that I needed those healthy boundaries so that we can truly thrive as our family. And last, forgiving yourself when you aren't being true or nice to yourself. I think the word grace was a huge part of the pandemic. Allowing yourself grace to say, I'm not okay, and that's okay. Allowing yourself grace to say, you know what? I didn't act in the most true manner, but I can't change the past. I can only change my present behavior. there's nothing about the past that you can change. So why continue to beat yourself up about it? So allowing yourself to forgive yourself for not showing up as the best version of you and leaving it in the past is going to allow you to flourish in the present moment. And that one is something that I see a lot of people struggle with because of some act that they did, a year ago, a week ago, 10 years ago. You got to leave that baggage, because I've never ever met anyone that can go back and actually change the past. Unless someone, and by the way, if you invented a time machine, let me know, because there are some wrongs I'd like to right. Uh, but guess what? I can't. So unless you invented a time machine, there's two things that I would do with that. I would go back and I would say sorry to a couple people. And then the other thing, you know what I would do? I would 100% capture all of the think of Back to the Future, when you go back and you know what's going to happen, and then you go forward on a betting. I mean, gosh, the money possibility. So anyway, I'm digress because I'm getting off topic. Forgive yourself. There's nothing you can do about the past. Only show up as the best version of you. So on this Valentine's Day, I want you to remember, love is not all sunshine and rainbows. Often love is being willing to have that tough conversation, both with your loved ones, with people that you work with, and more importantly, with yourself. But showing yourself that grace, showing yourself that love, to make sure that you trust yourself, that you're talking to and about yourself with love, that you're prioritizing yourself. That's the way that you're going to be able to show up as the best version of you. So, guys, I hope you have an amazing Valentine's Day with everyone. I hope that you truly show yourself self-love, that so you can show up as the best version of you. And remember, your mindset matters. So till next time, you guys keep being happy, healthy, wealthy. I really appreciate. I love you guys, man. I really do. And share this. This is a big topic that we all deal with. Share it out with those that you love. Let them know, hey, there's this show, Let's Go Win, and it's sending positivity out to the world. This can also benefit you. So I appreciate you guys. Until next time, have a great one, and happy Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.